What is everybody? It is Codebreaker146 here again another video. Before I do my Raw review for January 30th, 2014, final Raw for June of 2014 ever, I wanted you, if you could, please comment down below and get some feedback, because I love hearing from you guys and talking to you about, wrestling or whatever. And also, please send some questions for my upcoming Q&A that I'm having, because I hit over 400 subscribers. And please send some questions in for my 5th Q&A, and that'd be really awesome if you could do that. We already have 2 questions. If we could have a couple more, I'd love to have as many as possible, so write as many or type many as you want. So let's go ahead and get into this Raw review, shall we? The Authority come out to open Raw, and, they're doing their whole spiel, and then John Cena, the great John Cena, the 15-time World Heavyweight Champion, WWE World Heavyweight Champion, comes down the aisle, and then they go on, and Cena talks about Daniel Bryan and everybody else. Then we unveil that Cena is going to be on the cover of WWE 2K15. Yippee, whatever. I'll talk about WWE 2K15 at a later date. Battleground as this main event. There's been a Fatal 4-Way announced. Cena, Kane, Randy Orton, Keith Orton, and Roman Reigns are going to be in a Fatal 4-Way for the WWE title, WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It's going to be great, I guess. Whatever. So then after that, Seth Rollins comes down after, talking about if Cena makes it out of the Fatal 4-Way, there's always a plan B. And Seth Rollins came down there kind of, hinting possibly a Money in the Bank cash-in the future, kind of, putting a focus on that to some degree. Then we get a rematch from last week, RVD versus Seth Rollins. Eventually, Seth Rollins would win with the curb stop. No interference from Ambrose, but until after the match, Ambrose would have a promo dueling with Seth Rollins and saying anytime he tries to cash in, he's going to be there, because in that briefcase is going to be TNT more than a contract, because it's going to blow up in his face whenever he tries to cash in, because Ambrose is going to, unable him to cash in on anybody. Then we get to Lana and Rusev, and Lana is smoking hot, by the way. They come down there, and they come down to the ring, and they talk, and all of a sudden Jack Swagger comes down, and then it's also with Zed Coulter, and they have a pretty good dueling promo. I actually like their dueling promo, talking about the real Americans, and talking about, the crowd was really over with, the crowd was pretty good all night long. The only problem I had was that they chanted "this is awesome" for every single thing, and that is completely unnecessary when a match has only been 5 minutes long, and you're chanting "this is awesome." Like, what's the point of that, you know what I'm saying? So, they even tried to chant JBL to try to be off topic, just like, a post-WrestleMania crowd would want to. But anyway, but not in this segment, just other segments in general. So Swagger and Rusev, Coulter versus Lana, and then eventually we wouldn't get a match necessarily, but we did get a face-off, and Swagger did 2 arm drags, and then Rusev, and then they stopped, and, there's a Let's Go Swagger chant, "We the People," that's pretty over, and that gets a big reaction. So we're finally going to see a Rusev and Jack Swagger feud. So America versus Russia. Eventually we're going to see John Cena versus Rusev, and Cena's going to bury the crap out of Rusev. It's going to be fantastic, because WWE loves that crap. Sheamus and the Usos versus the Wyatt family. We've seen it about 3 or 4 times, sometimes on main event, sometimes on SmackDown. Usos versus Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, we've seen about 15 times already. Wyatt family pick up the win clean here. That's a big shock, but, because I'm not normally used to hearing their theme song being played after the match. Normally it's very unheard of, but congrats on the Wyatt family. Let's go Wyatt. Nikki Bella versus the Funkadactyls, Cameron and Naomi. About 2 minutes, and then Cameron and Naomi pick up the victory. Also, before the match was Bo Dallas's 60 seconds of silence because of the injuries due to Bad News Barrett and Daniel Bryan. Props to Bo Dallas for doing that, man. Bo Dallas. All you have to do is believe, and then, So then we get Nikki Bella versus Funkadactyls. 2 minutes, it's over. Funkadactyls win. Naomi and Cameron, I guess, split up. Cameron goes her separate way, and, they pushed each other, whatever. Cameron's so weak, you can't even take her seriously. Weak by, she's not, she doesn't look threatening at all. Like, if I saw her and she just, pushed me, I'd probably laugh. Kofi Kingston versus Cesaro. Pretty okay, solid match. Good in-ring work. And then when they go to commercial break, Kofi Kingston, is the winner of this one. So why? I know you're trying to say, oh, anything can happen in WWE, so you might want to get the WWE app and tune in, and join this, thing and watch this match as it goes off the air, because some stuff can happen like this. But why do you have a match like this and Kofi Kingston pick up a victory when nobody really is watching? What's the point of that? That's like having a Royal Rumble and on TV and going to commercial break and you have the winner of the Royal Rumble. What's the point? Or a return, say Chris Jericho or Lesnar comes back, then you go to commercial break. Oh, Lesnar returned. Oh my God. So, what's the point? What's the point of having Kofi Kingston win? And then eventually Cesaro would attack Kofi Kingston, uppercuts and such, and would attack Kofi, and that's it. Then the chairman of the board comes down, and it winds up being Damian Sandow, or Vincent Kennedy McMandow. And then eventually Stephanie McMahon would get pissed off, and she would assign Great Khali to be his opponent for tonight. Great Khali chops Vincent Kennedy McMandow, and 1, 2, 3, about 4 or 5 second match. So what a great segment. And going out through the night, there was a Hollywood star, or a Hollywood star, or and a former WWE champion and a multimedia outlet, star, I guess you would say. And then Miz came out, and dead crickets flooded the Hartford XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut. Crickets. And then all of a sudden, when Miz returned, I already knew this was going to happen because he said WWE champion. And then, because originally I was thinking Chris Jericho, but then I started thinking, it's going to be The Miz. It's going to be The Miz. Great. So then, eventually Miz would be like, I want respect, I want to main event WrestleMania again, and I want you people to be begging me not to leave, or whatever. And then Jericho, Y2J returns, my boy, Chris Jericho, and I'm a big fan of Chris Jericho, if you can't tell by the title of my username, Codebreaker146. And Codebreaker146 is glad to call that Chris Jericho gave The Miz, who I despise and dislike very much, he delivered a Codebreaker to The Miz. And then eventually Jericho would be celebrating, talking about how he's on the mic, and Raw is Jericho. And then eventually the Wyatts would come down, and then the Wyatts would attack Chris Jericho's sister Abigail Jericho by Bray Wyatt. I'm happy. Both my two favorite superstars currently right now, Bray Wyatt and Chris Jericho, now that Chris Jericho's returned. Bray Wyatt's my current favorite superstar right now. And so we're going to see Wyatt versus Chris Jericho. Probably they're going to throw this away on Battleground instead of having it for SummerSlam, which doesn't really make sense to me. So Wyatt's Jericho. We've seen a match before on NXT. I haven't seen it, so it's going to be very interesting to see Jericho and Wyatt. It's going to be good because Wyatt's been pretty much buried by John Cena. And for those of you that think, oh, he wasn't buried or whatever, okay. Tell me your point. So, he wasn't buried by John Cena when he lost 100% crystal clean to John Cena at WrestleMania, and when he had to use a kid singing to escape the steel cage, or when he got physically buried at Payback. So explain to me how Cena or Bray Wyatt got most of anything out of that feud. And Bray Wyatt, we've seen him, the progression of NXT, and now he's with Jericho. So now we know that he's going to get put over clean by a guy that's willing to put over a superstar and a younger talent rather than John freaking Cena. So Jericho is back, and I'm pretty happy. Fandango versus Dolph Ziggler. Summer Rae kisses Dolph Ziggler. Yawn. Ziggler wins. Zigzag. 1, 2, 3. RybAxel versus Goldust and Stardust. Third time, in a short week period, Goldust and Stardust win. Happy Stardust, is on TV, but whatever, Paige come out, and she kind of was, of course she's boring on the mic, and just like her personality, it's dry, and, it's pale, just like mine, and her skin. So, Paige would cut a promo, and eventually AJ Lee would return, and pretty cool. I mean, that was good. AJ came down, and AJ basically, they did a double switch here. Paige returned heel, so maybe Paige will be interesting as a heel, as a Divas champion. However, She lost the Divas Championship because Paige eventually would put her title on the line. And now AJ is the Divas Champion. Paige is not. That's cool, I guess. Finally, Paige is done. John Cena and Roman Reigns versus Randall, Keith Orton, and Kane. John Cena and Roman Reigns win via disqualification because Kane, oh man, Kane, oh my god, scary, scary, scary. You know, hit John Cena with the steel steps, that demon Kane, the dog, oh my god. Kane, I'm getting sick of Kane. I'm done with Kane. I'm sure you might hear that from other people, but I'm getting sick and tired of Kane on my TV. He's not even scary. He's not even intimidating. He doesn't have a storyline. He should, you know, they should just call him the Abyss now. They should call him, I don't know. They should call him like Chains or 8-Ball or Wrath or Atom Bomb or Chronic or something. They should call him that because he has no meaning and he's done nothing, absolutely nothing, because Kane should just go home and just sell insurance, if you ask me. And I think that then, you know, he does have a family agency, the Jacobs Agency for Insurance, trying to help your lives, and he would help my life if he would get off my TV screen. Now, that would be fantastic. And so Kane, after that, tombstones John Cena, and of course they would have to have medical procedures onto John Cena due to the fact that he was so inadvertently almost dead, almost, you know, killed and decapitated. That was why. So John Cena, as they're giving him medical attention, Seth Rollins comes down, and looks like he's going to cash Money in the Bank. For some reason, the referee, it's so funny to me that they allow Rey Mysterio or previously John Cena to get beaten down and bloody, beaten and battered like The Undertaker was in 2007, or like an Edge, or, you know, anything like that before, or Jeff Hardy, or Chris Jericho, or whatever, and the rest will allow, okay, yeah, go ahead, cash it out, give me the briefcase, okay, alright, briefcase, thank you very much, 1, 2, 3, you're new champion, okay, but this time, because it's John Cena's 15th title reign, they're like, no, I don't want it, you can't cash in, like, really, are you serious? So, and while they're stalling that, Ambrose comes down, and he attacks Seth Rollins, and they go in the back, and eventually Triple H would take the briefcase, and Cena would not get cashed in on, unfortunately. And then, but even if Cena did get cashed in on, you know, he'd probably still defeat Seth Rollins in his rematch at Battleground. And, you know, he'd become the 16th time world champion, and we had to be comparing him more greater than Ric Flair, which should never be compared. Cena would never, ever be as good as Ric Flair. And it shouldn't even be compared to one of the greatest of all time, like a Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's just ridiculous. That's blasphemous. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, while that's happening, Kane is in the ring, and then Roman Reigns comes down there, spears Kane, and Triple H and Roman Reigns are having a face-off. Great. Okay, cool. Alright, okay, whatever. Roman Reigns and Triple H, yay. Whatever. Raw, C-. Nothing much. Wasn't anything really great. Jericho and AJ returned. The only really noteworthy things that I remember from this Raw and the Wyatts attacking Y2J. Nothing really special. But, oh, by the way, there's going to be Bad News Barrett's title got vacated for the Intercontinental Championship, so there's going to be a Battleground Battle Royal. And, so, yeah, just a little noteworthy thing I should add there. For the Intercontinental title. So, anyway, thank you for watching this Raw review. I really appreciate you guys watching and stuff like that. That was really nice of you for clicking on this video. If you stayed the whole time and actually, you know, liked the video or anything like that, I really appreciate it. But the only thing I really try to ask for is for you to comment down below in the comment section below. So, send me some questions, give me your thoughts on this Raw, and that's pretty much it. Peace.